Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video we will be doing a tier list for every single role in the game. And a lot, yeah, like every time a lot changes. I honestly don't know how, because I made a tier list 3 weeks ago, but so much changed. Like my opinion on a lot of champions changed, and I'll explain what it's all gonna be. There's timestamps in the description if you just want to see the tier lists and don't want to listen to my annoying voice. But if you want to listen to it, then feel free to watch it. So, let's start with the Baron lane. And the first thing that I immediately want to highlight is kill. So, like, the thing about kill is, and this tilts me so much, is why does no one understand how kill works? I just totally don't get it. Kill is still S plus tier, maybe even S plus plus tier, but people just don't understand. Like when you're playing kill, you shouldn't rotate to the first dragon, you shouldn't fight, basically you shouldn't fight up until you reach level 10. People don't understand that. They constantly want to fight, they just, like, if they understand how kill works and just play the game safe, trade off the dragon for the Rift Herald, maybe gank the kill, get some kills, the way that you have to play with a kill, then kill is absolutely busted. The most broken Baron laner in the game right now, like, the most broken, if people know how to play. But people don't know how to play. That is why she's gotten down to the S tier. I will be making a kill video very soon again. It's incredibly tilting to play kill. Even though she's insanely broken, people just don't know how to play with her. That is literally, like, people not knowing how to play with kill is literally the whole reason why she's not S plus tier. Funny, isn't it? But it's true. Jace is broken. He's insanely strong. He deals too much damage in the early game, becomes insanely tanky in the late game. Just, he has everything. Fiora, Darius, Renekton, they're insanely powerful in the Baron lane. They can hold their ground in every lane. They're just really strong champions right now. So, Camille, I've been getting back into Camille, and like, she's really strong still. The nerfs didn't really hurt her a lot. Like, the nerf to her passive really doesn't hurt her that much. They brought it down from 10 seconds to 18 seconds in the early game, but like, I'm telling you, she's still insanely powerful. The only thing with Camille is, though, she's very hard to play. She's hard to play, but incredibly rewarding if you're good at her. So that is why she's not necessarily S plus tier, because the S plus tier champions are generally a bit easier to play than Camille. But Camille, if you're good at her, very rewarding. Riven, insanely good. Pantheon, now even though Pantheon is pretty useless in the late game, I still put him in the bottom S tier. And the reason is just because you can absolutely destroy the enemy. Like, absolutely destroy the enemy. That's the whole thing. It's like Draven, right? He's basically like Draven, but he's a buffed Draven because he can also gank other lanes. He can also go to the dragon fast with that all-amazing ultimate. So that's what makes Pantheon so insanely powerful in the Baron lane. Garen, Garen is an unstoppable force, and especially with Garen, if you get one kill or one assist, or if you basically just get slightly ahead, enemies can never kill you anymore. Like, it's crazy how tanky Garen gets. S tier Baron laner. Mundo is very underrated. I put him in the middle of the A tier, which means quite strong. He's very underrated. People don't really know how to play him well. I made a Mundo video the other day. Check it out. Just look up HellsDevil Mundo and pick out my most recent Mundo video. I also want to talk about these boys over here, which is Singed and Nasus. I pretty much talk about them in every single tier list. Singed and Nasus are not bad. Okay, and I'm smashing my finger on the table right here because it seems like no one really understands how these champions works. Especially Singed, by the way. Like, Nasus maybe. Nasus needs a proper draft. Like, Nasus is completely useless if you pick him in the wrong draft. But in the right draft, which is only going to be like 5% of your games, and I explain what the right draft is in my Nasus games, not going to explain it now. In the right draft, he's S tier. He's unkillable. And I'm quickly going to tell you why. There is this item which is called, the item that slows everyone's attack speed. Frozen Heart. This is the absolute perfect item on Nasus. Like, you're gonna be unkillable, and you're gonna be creating an aura that slows all of enemies' attack speed. The beauty is, like, I'm gonna give you an example. If you're against a Jhin or something, reducing his attack speed means reducing his damage because he converts attack speed into damage. Or if you're against the Graves, reducing his attack speed means increasing the duration that it takes him to reload. That is why a champion like Nasus is still good, but only in the right draft. Singed is the same thing. He's insanely powerful in the right draft. He's slightly better than Nasus, but again, in the bad draft, he's useless because it takes him a really long time to come online. Teemo is useless, but I'm still going to be giving you guys a Teemo video very soon. Alright, on to the jungle. Lee Sin, should I even say anything? No, I shouldn't. I'm not even going to say anything. Kha'Zix, broken. Like, the fact that Kha'Zix is right next to Lee Sin should already tell you how good this champion is right now. Kha'Zix is like an unstoppable force. He is okay, when you reach level 5, he becomes very strong. And it's very easy to reach level 5 with Kha'Zix because he has an incredibly fast jungle clear. Reach level 5, get your evolve on your first ability, and already you're insanely strong. And the beauty of Kha'Zix is, once you snowball a game and you build the Black Cleaver, I'm gonna make a Kha'Zix video too, by the way. I'm gonna make a Kha'Zix video too, don't worry. Like, he becomes super tanky, unkillable, and your damage is through the roof. And you're just gonna be snowballing. Even up until the late game, enemies just cannot do anything against it. It's really, really strong. Jax is in the S+ tier. Let me tell you why. Jax is the hyper farmer, and I am gonna make a Jax video as well. Don't you worry, guys. Jax is like, this champion needs to get nerfed, honestly. Like, early game, you just have to farm, okay? I know in the early game he sucks, and I know that Kha'Zix actually hard counters Jax, if you guys didn't know already. Kha'Zix destroys Jax, but if you farm up and know how to play Jax, know that you can ignore the dragons, go push turrets, go get heralds, just farm, S+ tier. And a lot of people know how to play Jax, and that is why he's in the S+ tier. As I said, Kill is also S+ tier in the Baron lane, but no one knows how to play with a Kill. A lot of people know how to play with a Jax, right? Like, when you're playing, you understand that your Jax is skipping the dragon. People understand and they don't throw the game, but with a Kill, they don't. And that is the reason why Jax is in the S+ tier and Kill is not. Evelynn, I almost put her in the S+ tier, but she has quite a lot of counters. That's the thing. Evelynn becomes an unstoppable force in the late game. She one-shots everyone, but getting to that late game is not always going to be easy. Up until level 5, you're not very strong, but when you reach that level 5, she has one of the strongest ganks in the game and one of the strongest late games in the game. But as I said, she has counter ability, she has no sustained damage, she's not tanky, she deals ability power, right? Like, there's if the enemy picks Mundo with full magic resist, picks Galio, picks Nasus, picks Fiora, these are all counters. Singed. That's the thing with Evelynn though, she has a lot of counters and she doesn't really offer much besides really good ganks and assassination. I mean, these things are really good, don't get me wrong, but I hope you understand that why I haven't put her in the S+ tier compared to the 3 titans up there. Jace, insanely strong. He doesn't have the best ganking, which is basically the only reason that I haven't put him in the S+ tier, but besides that, insanely powerful, really strong jungler. Camille, I find it so funny. Like, I remember when Camille's hookshot got nerfed and everyone thought that they killed Camille jungle, right? Like, back in the days, you could use your hookshot on jungle camps to increase your attack speed. They took that away entirely, so everyone thought that Camille jungle was gonna die. Up until people started playing her in jungle again, and she was still broken. S tier jungler, and I just like her ganking, insane. Her early game, okay, but when you reach level 5, insane. Her late game, broken. Camille late game, insane. She's really good at securing objectives as well with that second ability. Second ability deals a lot of damage to objectives. Like, you can smite them down from such a high amount of HP. Just a very solid jungler. Wukong, one of the best tanks in the jungle. Olaf, one of the most underrated junglers. This champion, and I made a video on him on Baron lane actually, in the right draft, but he does have a lot of good drafts. He's insanely broken. Now, especially with enchanter supports that can buff him up, he becomes a literal unstoppable force. Literally unstoppable, and figuratively as well, because you will do so much damage. And if you know how to play Olaf, oh, he's really strong. Really strong. Fiora jungle, stronger than you think. I believe I have one Fiora jungle video where a friend of mine, Keys, played Fiora jungle. He's basically a one-trick Fiora in the jungle. I'm joking. He's a really good Fiora. So if you haven't checked it out already, you know, look up HellsDevil Jungle Fiora. It's a really good video that teaches you how to play Jungle Fiora. Nunu has fallen a little bit because they kept nerfing and nerfing and nerfing him, but still a very good champion. Still very, very strong. Xin Zhao, Riven, Vi, you know, all very good. Rengar is good, but not S tier because he takes some time to come online. He's basically the same as Evelyn, but he doesn't have that same invisibility as Evelyn, only with his ultimate. So he's like a nerfed Evelyn, to be honest. Gragas, Pantheon, you know, Pantheon, same story as the Baron lane, very strong. You can win any jungle fight, but yeah, yet again, he becomes useless in the late game. So yeah, I put him in the A tier in the jungle. Jarvan, very strong tank. And I want to talk about Rammus as well. This is probably one of the most underrated champions in the game. And it's true that I haven't played Rammus yet, but I have seen a lot of Rammus in my team, in the enemy team, and I can confidently tell you that Rammus in the right draft is a free win. If you're against a full attack damage composition, Rammus, you go armor boots, Thormill, boom, 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 armor, armor, armor. You win the game. Like, Rammus is going to become unkillable, literally unkillable. So Rammus is basically like Nasus in the right draft, insanely broken, otherwise not necessarily useless, but just not as good. Master Yi, I hate Master Yi, but he is in the B tier. He can work, you know. I hate Master Yi, but I gotta be honest about it. Alright, onto the mid lane. Yet again, we got Jace in the S+2. Who would have thought? Wow. Should we even talk about him? No, of course not. Orianna in the S+ tier. Now, Orianna's not broken. But why did I put her in the S+ tier? Let me tell you. By the way, I'm doing a 15 skin giveaway as well. All you have to do to enter is put down a comment under this video. You know, to enter and under some other videos on January. So Orianna is always a good pick. There is no real counter to Orianna. Like maybe Diana or something. I don't know. But there is no real counter to Orianna. That is what makes her an S+ tier champion. She is basically always at least good. At least. And in most games, she's going to be insane. That's the beauty about Orianna. So you can always pick her as S+ tier champion. Twisted Fate has unrivaled gank potential. His ganks are stronger than any other ganks. With that stupid ultimate where he just goes to any lane and stuns everyone. Really, really strong. He's really broken in the late game as well. His only weakness really is the early game. He provides very big CC in the late game, very big damage. So get to that late game, gank lanes, and that's basically how Twisted Fate works. Akshan is like, you know what's funny about Akshan? He's not even that strong. He's like, sure, he's strong in the mid lane, but the whole thing that makes him top of S tier is that stupid passive in the late game. Do you know how many games have been turned around like either against me or in my favor? Because there was a stupid Akshan who just revived everyone. So in the late game, that passive is just too much, especially combined with his ultimate. His ultimate is an executing ability, so you can execute whichever target you want and you're gonna revive all of your teammates. Really, really strong. Katarina, you know, for those Katarina 1 tricks, very broken. Otherwise, she is just A tier, but I put her here because there's a lot of Katarina 1 tricks, so S tier. Zed, you know, really good. Diana, Irelia, it's basically the same story as Katarina. Ziggs is a very solid champion. However, Ziggs is basically the same as Orianna, but he does have counters, right? They nerfed Ziggs, they nerfed Ziggs, they nerfed Ziggs. Still really good, but not broken anymore. Galio is S tier if you pick him into the right draft. If you pick him against mage assassins like Fizz, Akali, Evelyn, you know, those types of champions, he's even S+ tier if you pick him against those types of champions. Akali, same story as Katarina. In the right hands, incredibly strong. Not quite as strong as Katarina, but still incredibly strong. Fizz is such a disgusting champion. Like, I should make a Fizz video too soon too. Yeah, true. I'm gonna be playing some Fizz tonight. See if I can get you guys a nice video. Fizz, man. That champion has so much burst damage. Like, whoa, his ganking is really good. His 1v1, his catching out, assassination, everything is just really good about him. All he doesn't have is sustain damage, but he doesn't really need it. Ahri, you know, the early game power. And I want to talk about KAYLE as well. KAYLE in the mid lane is good, but mid lane is not as good as Baron lane for the simple reason that in the mid lane, your teammates kind of expect you to roam around as well, you know, help your jungler, gank Baron lane, gank Dragon lane, you know, those kind of stuff. KAYLE cannot do that up until level 5 at least. So even though KAYLE will scale into the late game, it's not worth to pick KAYLE in the mid lane. Veigar, actually, yeah, I should put Veigar above KAYLE though. Veigar, it takes some time to come online. I made a Veigar video a few days ago, but Veigar is strong, but it takes time to get online. So most of these champions are generally going to be better than Veigar. Okay, on to the Dragon Lane. And I changed some stuff here. So let's first talk about the S plus tier. Lucian is always a good pick. He's one of the most mobile ADCs and deals so much damage. You know, up until the late game, he deals insane damage. Ezreal, the beauty about Ezreal is, while he may not necessarily be the very best ADC, first of all, he's always a good pick, like Orianna. Secondly, you don't need your support to hard carry as an Ezreal, because you already have your third ability to dash away. And fourth of all, he's insanely broken in the late game. So if you have an absolute garbage team, Ezreal is that one champion that can absolutely hard carry the game on his own. That is why he's on the S plus tier. Varus, Varus is so powerful, guys, with that stupid arrow, the ultimate. Just his execution is insanely powerful. Early game, you can easily win your lane with his abilities, right? Just Varus has it all, except for sustained damage, but still S plus tier. Kai'Sa, KAYLE, you know, very strong. And what the hell is Orianna doing in the S plus tier in the Dragon Lane tier list? Is this the wrong tier list? Is this the wrong place? No, it is not. Orianna is really good in the Dragon Lane as an APC, ability power carry, instead of an attack damage carry. Trust me, guys, really good. She's really good. She can win lane pretty well. She can play lane even or win the lane pretty easily. And when you get to the late game, Orianna's Orianna. She's gonna destroy the enemy. Xayah, very strong, right? Xayah is really good against diving enemies. So if the enemies have champions that dive, like, I don't know, Evelynn, Kha'Zix, Rengar, Shyvana, blah, 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 diving champions, pick Xayah, use your third ability to root them, use your ultimate to dodge their damage, and you're gonna destroy them. Vayne is, the reason that Vayne is not S plus tier is because you kind of need an enchanter support, same as Jinx, but Vayne is stronger than Jinx. But Vayne in the late game is unstoppable. But yeah, getting to that late game can be a little hard because her early game sucks. Miss Fortune, I've brought Miss Fortune down from the S plus tier to the S tier. And the reason is that people are getting better at playing against Miss Fortune. People, for some reason, never really knew how to play against Miss Fortune when she got the buff. But now they're starting to get more used to Miss Fortune and they know how to play against her. They know how to lane against her. And with a Miss Fortune, in duo queue, she is still S plus tier, but in solo queue, not anymore. Because the only way that you can really destroy the enemy with Miss Fortune is if you just hard win your lane, right? You just destroy the enemy in lane, which Miss Fortune can do very easily, but your support needs to be good for that too. Draven, insanely broken in the right hands. But being the right hands is another story. That's insanely hard. And Draven needs a good support. Same story as Miss Fortune, right? Same story as Miss Fortune. Draven needs his support. If Draven doesn't have a good support, he's not useless, but you're not gonna win the game very easily on Draven. So that's why he's on the A tier, not any higher. Jinx, you need an enchanter, or you have to be insanely good at Jinx. So she's not that strong. She takes really long to come online. Like, you really have to farm hard, get 3 items, 4 items, 5 items. That's when you can carry. But like, sometimes the game is already gonna be over then. So, you know, you're taking that risk. Jhin, I want to talk about Jhin, by the way. You know what's funny? Even though I'm putting Jhin in all these low tiers, I nearly have a 60% win rate on Jhin. And I made the absolute perfect Jhin build, and it's actually taking over the EU leaderboards. Everyone is ditching the lethality build and going for my Jhin build, because obviously it's way better. Like, my late game Jhin build is insanely powerful. I'm destroying enemies with it, but still, I'm telling you guys that Jhin sucks. Jhin sucks. You know, believe it or not, I'm still telling you guys, because Jhin does suck. I don't want to make Jhin look like a fantasy champion to you, because even though he can work, even though my build is insanely powerful, even though I'm really good at Jhin, he still sucks. It's in the late game, it's really hard to hard carry your team. Even with my build, even though my build gives you big damage late game, it's still not going to be nearly as much as other ADCs. That's the whole pain of Jhin, guys. He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it. Senna in the Dragon Lane, they kind of killed Senna Dragon Lane because they reduced her range by a lot. You really want to be playing Senna as a support now. You don't want to be playing her in the Dragon Lane. It's just not as good anymore. On to the support tier list. So on top of the S plus tier, we have Thresh. And also Thresh is the hardest champion to play out of all of these champions. Why is he in S plus tier, you may ask? Why is he on top of the S plus tier? It is one of the, if not the most rewarding champions in the game if you're good at Thresh. If you know how to use the lanterns, if you can hit your hooks, if you can cancel dashes with your third ability, if you trap enemies with your ultimate. Thresh is already super strong in the early game, and you will only get more ability power and armor throughout the late game because he stacks up. Insanely broken support, but you have to be good at Thresh. The reason that I don't have Thresh videos, which I'm sorry for, is because I'm not good at Thresh yet. I have tried him, but you guys know me. I want to be really good at a champion before making a video, and like, I don't want to give false promises. I am not going to be able to make a Thresh video anytime soon. I'm going to have to ask my friend, who is an insanely good Thresh video, if he wants to make one. Otherwise, I cannot do it. I cannot not do it. Nami, always a good pick. The healing, the ult, the stuns, just so broken. It's insanely stupid, the champion. Rakan is a bit harder to play, but incredibly rewarding. The full AP Rakan build is insanely strong. I have a Rakan video for you guys very soon, by the way. It's just a very solid champion. In the late game, the combos are insane with that ultimate as well to charm the enemies and knock them up and everything like that. Lulu doesn't need an introduction. The most brain-dead champion in the game. Janna, you know, she's just good. She's just, you know, a solid S tier. She's not broken, but she's just good. Braum, you know, the shield, the meat shield is amazing for blocking damage against certain compositions. Morgana is really good as a support with that third ability. You know, when you're against like a Blitzcrank or something, Morgana can just block that hook with her third ability. Lux, Senna, Leona, you know, they're all decent. By the way, Mundo support, my friend Kamolto played it yesterday and it was actually really strong. I've seen it before as well, especially paired with a Senna. I mean, I'm gonna have to see a bit more about it. That's why I put him in the B tier, you know, which means not that bad, but not that good either. We're gonna have to see how Windows support is gonna evolve through the meta. So that was it for the tier list. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you give it a like and everything like that. And yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.